This is why we don't start talking about things early.
That is true.
We should go live. We should go live. Good morning.
Yes, that's true. I don't know what's going on in my hair today. Hold on a second.
Oh, you know. It's an everyday thing.
I gotta shake it out like Prince Charming and Shrek, or else it just does whatever it wants to do. Actually, it's going to do that anyway, so who cares?
That's kind of where we're at, especially at 7:45 a.m.
Yeah, no walk today. Second day in a row, feeling a little bit weird about it, but it is 24 degrees outside is what the thermometer says. I have no idea what the wind chill feels like, so nah is what I say to that.
I was going to say the wind chill feels nah. That's what it feels.
Yes. It feels like 12 degrees outside. That's what guys, this is Texas. We don't deal with this kind of stuff with any kind of regularity. So it's kind of like shocking and, a little bit weird.
It's like a very Jim Gaffigan moment where he's like, I watched one of his specials last night where he was in Canada and they were laughing about how cold Winnipeg was. He was like, I'm not sleeping outside. Right? Like, and then he gets there and he goes, and they were right. It's insane.
I think that Gaffigan is funny. I do not like his inner voice thing.
Oh, you don't? Gosh,
I don't like it. I'm not sure what it is that I don't like about it because I like the concept a lot. I think it's a very funny concept. Yeah. I just don't. Maybe it's the tone he uses whenever he's doing that part that I'm just not a fan of.
He leans on it a lot. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me because it was funny because he's got this series, which I think is a genius concept, and he's got 2 episodes in it. I don't know if they're going to do any more. This is like a pre-COVID thing, but it's called, oh gosh, I'm not going to think of it now. Anyway, it's something about him being on the road. And the first one's in Canada, and it's called Canadian American. And then the next one, he's in Spain, so it's called Spanish American. And he just goes in and does bits on the country that he's in and talks about things that are weird about the country, like in a Jim Gaffigan way, right?
Yeah.
And so 2 things interest me about that. Number one, can he change up his material enough that it could carry a series doing that basically the same bits over and over in different countries? But number 2, the reactions from the people in the country he's in, because it was definitely different between Canada and Spain. Because some of the bits he did landed in Canada and they were just flat in Spain. Uncomfortably.
In the same bits?
It's like you and I are in the process, right? And so even comedians, if you watch a comedian, you
absolutely
there's a process they go through with their bits. That's what I mean. They're not the exact same bits, but they're pretty similar. You can tell he went through the same process to get to that bit about halfway through that. So, dude, we're such nerds.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm on Gaffigan's process to scrutinize his bits.
I was talking with an old friend of mine yesterday, someone who I worked with at the bank before I went to go sell medical devices, and she just bought a house, and we hadn't talked in a while, so we're just kind of catching up. And she's like, "What's new with you?" And I was like, "Well, I wrote a book, And she's like, "Oh, wow, okay, so tell me about that." And so we're just kind of doing this general catch up. I don't think I've talked to her, I don't know, in like a year, and so then she was talking about, she's like, you were like this, in my view, even whenever we worked together. And I was like, really? Because in my view, I started to shift and change whenever I was beginning to work with Jeff, right? And started to get into development and all this other stuff. But before that, I just kind of had this view of myself that I'm just this, not lazy, but unmotivated, kind of unfocused person, right? I would see something, I would get really excited about it, and then I'd figure it out, and then I would be bored. And so I took this job to be to work with this woman, Ryan, as a sales assistant. So that way I would know the backside of all of our financial advising platforms and everything else like that. So that way when I became a financial advisor, I would already know all that stuff. Very, very C thing to do. And that's where we worked together. And then I figured it out really quick. And there was the thing that I know now is all these people had such different processes, and they were so not streamlined that it just frustrated me. But I didn't have words for that at that time because I didn't understand process creation, process documentation, or anything else. So I would just be endlessly frustrated that one advisor wanted to do it this way and one advisor wanted to do it this completely other way, and neither one of them seemed like really like effective or efficient ways of doing it.
Right.
So yeah, but we got to have this really cool call and kind of talk about that, which was helpful because she's like, you're always playing with something, playing with like the next thing that might be interesting for you to learn. So yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I mean, I think we all are always who we are. It's just how much of it are we like truly digging in and like living in your genius, if you like, however that you want to talk about it. Like those traits. When I met you at Chase, you were a process guy already. You're already scrutinizing the walkout before I had a chance to. Like our third conversation was basically about how ridiculous the process was.
Yes, that is true.
That's always been there, right?
Well, yeah, I have no problem hauling out someone else's process and like putting it on trial if I think it doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's still very much a thing.
You just turned it on yourself now.
Yes. Now it's all inwardly focused, as opposed to this isn't so hard. What do you guys complain about? Yeah. Oh, this is what you're complaining about.
Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dang. Wow. So I'm the asshole. Okay.
Yes. Man, I'm reminded of that like almost daily, right? Like at some point of the day, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm the asshole. That's right.
Got it. Man, yeah.
I just need like a flashing neon sign with a big arrow and just points down at me. Yeah. Asshole.
Yes. You could have one that follows you, and there could be like the old chain on the lamps, and when somebody else, they can just go. Okay. I'm sorry.
It'd be really funny if the string was long enough so that way whenever I was an asshole to someone else and I caught it, I could be like, just go ahead and pull the string, right? And just like
well, not you.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch it.
No. It shocks you. It's part of your Pavlov. Like when you touch it.
If you pull this string, it shocks the crap out of me.
But actually, Pavlov has another phase coming where when someone else pulls the chain, it actually pats you on the shoulder, like. Hey.
I leave all my motivational levers in the hands of others.
I love it.
Oh man! So how was yesterday? No school. You got to be productive. How did your writing block go?
It went well. It was a good writing block. I am struggling with writing, and it's one of those standard, I think, push through moments I'm feeling. And
okay? Can I ask questions?
Yeah.
Do you have an outline for the book?
Uh-huh.
So you have chapters that you're writing to fill around very specific topics?
Correct.
Okay. Are you?
You're going to try and make it logical. It's emotional.
Well, no. I'm trying to help you figure out. You need a what?
I just don't want
to. I'm so sorry.
No. Well, I wasn't trying to kill your buzz. I was like, no, it's much simpler than that. Like, I get the point. I go, nah, I don't
want it. Dude, this is the difference between you and me because I would just slog through that, and I might not write anything great. You're the Pressfield guy. Come on, you know that resistance is there, and you just have to work through it and write through it, and it doesn't matter if it's crap or not.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm going with it. Is I felt that way. I felt this way this week, where I've just been and I'm probably 50-50, for logging, those efforts on. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to.
That's right, James, help me out, sir. Would you just continue to berate this man until he sits down and writes? Take away his other tasks until he sits down and writes this thing that he's been talking about for a while.
The problem is half the stuff I'm writing at least is for him. So of course,
no, I know. That's why we need his buy-in, James. How many words does Jake need to write in his book each day before he's allowed to work on the projects that you guys are working on together? Give him a word goal. Let's make this thing happen.
I hate you, Bill. Because is I have a little taskbar up here for Quirk. It's a bookmark to our back end, and a task is going to show up. Oh, look.
See, now, James, I know this, but the thing is we have to give Jake here a little bit of accountability, right? So, of course, he can do all of this. The problem is that he's not doing all of this. So, let's give Jake a daily word goal that he has to write before he's allowed to work on outside stuff. Yeah. That'll make him do it. This is called a trap. We're going to trap Jake into good behavior, just like I trap myself into good behavior the majority of the time. And so that way he gets this freaking thing done, as opposed to, man, God, I just want to like make you sit down at the desk and just like sit there across from you and just kind of like,
which is probably what I need at this point. Oh yeah, he's going to guilt me. So he knows he's met my mom. Guilt works really well. They got a leader now. Jake, you said that people saw you as a leader sometimes, so you're not acting like a leader.
That's true. Hey, do you think that writing this book is going to get you some attention or some impact, or maybe both? I don't know. That's probably not worth doing, though. That's fine. It's fine. If it takes 10 more years, it just takes 10 more years. That's okay.
Oh, stop that. See, that's a good level for me. It's time. Right? Like, oh, no, it's, 10 years.
Yeah.
That makes me itch.
When you're 52 and this book comes out, you're going to be really, really happy, and you're going to feel very successful about
Yeah, and what's funny, right, is I've got my project this year.
Levi in the comments, just give up, Jake. I don't know, like that. Even that little line could be taken like a bunch of different ways. Like, just line up and comply with what John is saying. Just give up on the book. It could be taken in a number of ways, but they're all very funny.
Well, they're all effective too.
They're all what?
Effective.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Just give up.
Today I'll come out with 3,600 words.
Hey.
And then I won't write again for 9 days because my wrist hurts so bad.
I don't think that's from the writing. Oh man. Okay. What do you got today, Bill?
I think I have to write.
Yeah. If you were like, well, not any writing.
Yeah. Writing. I've got actually a pretty busy day. I've got a Thursday for sure. And it's a John Thursday. Look at that.
That looks like a John Thursday.
Oh, so I've got several meetings. I've got Chris did his choppy chop on my copy yesterday, so I get to go back and make edits from his chops. I get to we got our BBN monthly meeting today. We've got let's see, a 1, a 2, a 2:30, a 4, all networking, trying to get either people on podcasts or potentially get some referrals. Oh my gosh, tons. 9 o'clock this morning, we're doing some recording. And then I'm supposed to write somewhere in there.
Yeah, supposed to write. Yeah.
So,
if only you had scheduled that writing on your calendar so that way it couldn't be taken over by one of these other blocks. Weird.
It's on there. That tells you I just don't want to do it because it's on the calendar this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's me.
Right.
For today. I think yours looks cooler and more intimidating, but
because
we're showing calendars.
Go to the day view. That's definitely the way to do it.
Oh, is that the thing? Okay, hold on a second. I can do that.
Let's measure.
This is me. I got lots of overlapping blocks, which is
you have larger blocks. I have a bunch of like machine gun blocks.
Yes. So I have a session with Levi and Jordan, group session, sales practice lab at 9. At noon, I have a catch up for a private client that didn't make yesterday. Then after that, I'm having a call with Michelle Stifler, Mama Bill.
Mama Bill.
And then after that, I'm meeting with Dan, who made the Sherpa sales course logo, talking about his sales stuff. Then I'm coaching a team out of Canada. They're a music software thing. Well, not music software. They help build up artists, right? So it's marketing and stuff for musicians and things. It's really cool. And there's a product that goes along with it. At 4 o'clock, I have a deep dive with a new client. He took his disc, and this guy is the epitome of like the DC, and he's just like he's so quiet. He's not a people person at all, right? And I can't wait to go over his disc with him today and kind of like show how all of this stuff works with him, because he's been coming to Sales Practice Lab for like 2 weeks, and so he's been hearing us talk about all of this stuff. And so now he's like really excited for it. So I'm excited to do that today. And then
that one.
Huh?
I got a question about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a DC. He's not a people person.
No, not at all.
You tell people that that your I-ness is learned behavior, right?
Yep.
How do you take someone who's on all the left side, the non-person side, and get them convinced that they can learn that behavior and keep it?
So this is a really good question, right? And this comes down to like the intrinsic levers, the intrinsic motivations in your why, right? If your why is just to be successful in business, then you might not ever become an I, right? You might bring on other salespeople who are willing to do this and everything else. Whenever I was just doing this, whenever I started to do it, because I needed to network, I needed to know as many people as I could, because that was going to get me into conversations. So that it wasn't really as intentional as like it would be now if I was like trying to like very purposefully like put myself in the D corner. But it kind of relies on those things, right? If you don't have good intrinsic motivation to change, you won't change. So
agreed. Yeah, because Levi says here, what if we make active listening a task? Well, it's still just a task, and so when it gets tough, it's going to go away.
Yes. Yeah. So
it's a good Kickstarter for sure, but active listening without empathy also would be almost useless, not completely.
Yeah, and for him and for like all those people, D's and C's, like the first thing that we start doing is start thinking about like nurturing, because it's not part of our skill set. It's not part of the thing that we do. And when you're using a lot of questions to sell and to qualify and stuff, the nurturing is what is going to take the sting off of that. Because if you just go from question to question to question to question to question to question to question, it's going to feel like the third degree. It's going to feel like where were you on Tuesday the 17th, But if you can say, I appreciate you telling me that, where were you on the 17th? It changes it completely, right? It takes the sting out of that conversation. So when I'm working with a very task-driven person, they don't nurture out of the box very well, because they're not people-driven. They don't care, right? It's very much like in The Big Short, when that guy is so smart and he's like, oh, that's a great haircut. Did you do that yourself? And he doesn't really understand that like that's kind of like offensive. Like that's me essentially, right? So yeah. I mean a little bit. Minus all like the greatness of being able to like crush blackjack, but the other stuff very much.
Complete lack of people involvement.
Yes.
Facts and so there was another question on that. Oh yeah. So did you know that the great James Ryan Thorne is a DC?
Really?
Isn't that crazy? I don't know how much I he has, because I haven't seen his actual test, but we have in our profiles, like our personnel profiles, what our Enneagram is, what our DISC is, like things like that. And he's a DC. To me, that's some good learned behavior right there.
That is some good learned behavior. Yeah.
Because he is task to task. He loves to run, like task, boom, boom, boom. Let's roll. But he's very likable, I guess. I don't know if there's just something that makes him feel like that he's not so D and he's more I.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has that kind of like nurturing component that like brings people out into conversation and stuff. And it's not unapproachable for DCs. It's just not something that they do naturally, right? So at some point, James saw value in not being quite as harsh and as brutal as you can be, or as DCs can come across as. But there's not a single segment of DISC that is going to make you inherently a bad salesperson or a good salesperson. It's about you have to know how you're approaching the whole process, right? So that way you can figure out your development path, so that way you can do it well. don't coach DIs the same way as I would coach a DC. I don't coach a DC the same way that I would coach a CS and a C and and all of this stuff. So coachable is the only credit I can give to myself. And James, I'm gonna say BS on that because I think you have a lot of other really great qualities that are like in abundant. Just in abundance. So yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I like James.
Let me ask you this then, because I'm just using James as I'm not like James is the best. Look at James. I'm like James he loves to have fun. Like he's a kid at heart. He loves to have fun. So can that maybe be substituting in for what you see as just because he really can have fun?
Yeah.
And so it feels like a little bit like he's nurturing, where he's really just he wants everyone to have a good time.
Maybe, right? I would like to see James stressed out because, like, I mean, I don't know James as well as you do, obviously, but I've never seen James in even anything less than a almost annoying, happy-go-lucky like mood, right? Like not. It's just annoying because of jealousy, honestly. Like, I can't be that happy all the time. And now knowing that he's so task-driven of being like a DC, I'm even more impressed. Right, because typically task-driven people are like pessimistic. Like I call myself a realist, but often it comes across quite pessimistic. So yeah, no,
he snaps to the task when he gets stressed. It's like, all right, let's just get this done. Come on, and he's smiling when he's saying it, but like it's like, okay, we got to do this. Let's go. Come on. He snaps into that.
I might need to interview James Ryan Thorne.
He's a good. He is a good.
That might be a thing I need to do.
Yeah, well, I know a guy, so if you need. Yeah. I also sorry, I'm just like a floating.
No, you're good.
When I'm curious to see the Quentin interview. When do you have timeline on when that project's going to be kind of taken off?
Yeah. So I've committed to doing 3 kind of experimental interviews because I'm not really sure that this is the thing that I should be doing. So I kind of I didn't get talked into it because like I also think it's a good idea, but these people were like just do 3, and then if it's fun and you want to continue, you can. Because unlike James, I don't really go for trying to factor fun into the stuff that I work on. It's just about getting it done so that way fun can happen like afterwards in the off time with the money that I make from doing the hard things.
So let's talk about that real quick because I have on my daily thing, there's a section. So this is like the hybrid, right, that I'm talking about. I've taken things from different people. Mm-hmm. And this is something I took from Burchard is things I get to enjoy today. So that's the fun part of my day because I also want to vacation. I also want to play video games after work. I also want to blah, blah, blah. But I also want to enjoy the work hours.
That's fair.
So I think it's important to actually put it in your day, even if it's something stupid like I get to have a special coffee this morning.
No, I think I think there's something really, really great and this is something I'm working on for myself about like finding uniqueness in the mundane, right? I go on the same walk every morning when it's not 18 degrees outside, and it's like the same 1 mile loop around my neighborhood. And the thing that I've started to do is like look for a thing that I've never like noticed before, right? And take a picture of it. So I like the idea of like looking at your day and forcing yourself to find the fun in it because essentially that's kind of the same thing as like gratitude practice. Right? Like, let's go through and look at all the stuff that happened today and find the things that like are, takeaways, and honestly, that's what evening journaling is for most people, right? Is like looking back at the day and like, okay, like this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be and all of that stuff and holding your activities kind of out there in front of you. And for me, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. This didn't work out the way that I thought. Why is that? How do we make it better next time? So that's kind of my evening journaling practice, but it just all happens through like questions, right? Yeah. How was today? Could have been better. Did it need to be better? And then it just kind of like goes from there. So, and I just kind of question throughout the day and stuff that got in my way and stuff that worked and stuff that didn't.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think that what happens with those annoyingly optimistic people is they're constantly looking for that. I think it's more default for them to be looking for that.
Well, it's a practice, right? It's just like anything else. It's you can't find the kung fu answer if you don't know kung fu, right? But now I can find lots of kung fu answers. I can find jujitsu answers. I can find mindset answers. It's just about the what you're exposed to and how much you're exposed to it and how strong the muscle is.
Yep. Agreed.
It's easier for me to find gratitude and to be thankful for people and things around me because I've been working for about a year on trying to like look for that stuff and call it out whenever I find it. I can still hear you, but you're frozen on my screen. There we go. Is this better?
I can hear you. There you go.
Okay. So yeah, it's easier now because I've been working on the muscle. But the inverse is also true, right? If you're just always like looking around, like looking for the reason why it sucks and the reason why it's not going to work, you're going to find that as well.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So.
All right. So it's Thursday. We've got
it's a Thursday.
Full calendars.
Full calendars. Hey, you mentioned so tomorrow's Clubhouse Day. So if anybody who's watching is on Clubhouse tomorrow, I'm going to be there from 8 to 5 all day long. Any sales question, any sales role play, anything you would like to ask me about or see me kind of work through a process of, come check it out. Yep. You mentioned that there were some things I needed to do that.
Well, you can start a room anytime you want.
Okay.
That's not part of it. I mean, if you actually want to have like a channel that people can search up and find.
Oh, is that not the same thing?
No, because anybody can spin up a room, but it's time and it disappears and then they can't find it again.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you actually basically have to create a profile or a page or something like that. So
okay,
yeah, we can chat about that. Well, and anybody else who's trying to get on the Clubhouse, I mean, basically, really all you have to do is you have to spin up 3 rooms like that, and more than one person has to be there for more than 2 minutes or something. So basically, Clubhouse, you're alive and you have a heartbeat.
Okay.
And do it 3 times, and then you.
So I should do like 3 mini rooms today with like people who I know, so that way I can start a channel to, like later on this afternoon.
Yeah, if you want to start like an official channel, yep.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Sure, I'll do one if you want. So just let me know what time.
That would be great for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm trying to actually think of a decent like situation that comes to mind recently that I could bring in myself and have you go over. So I'm looking for it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think my concern at this point is that there won't be enough people for it to like justify like the full like 8 to 5. So I've been kind of in some groups that I'm in some different communities. I've been talking about this enough, and people are like, yeah, I'll help. So I imagine tomorrow will be as much like me being on Clubhouse as much as it is me like shaking, my network to make sure that I've always got a person or 3 in there.
Yes, yeah, for sure. All the people I know that do that well, that sort of thing well, have it planned out.
Yeah.
And like on the hour, they actually already have people committed, and then just friends and the network. So that way, it seems full all the time, which it is, but it works.
Yeah. So it's kind of the plan. I guess we should get to work.
Okay.
You need to go sit down and write 1,000 words. Just go write 1,000 words, and they don't have to be good. They don't have to be great. They don't ever even have to be anything that you ever read again. Just make a commitment that you're not going to do anything else during your writing time, right? And then just write, man. Just write. And I know that sounds like ridiculously simple, but you're the environmental design person, right? So like if you build an environment that is like warm and inviting and it is like meant for writing, then you'll do it. So build that environment and then build that time and don't let anything else happen. You're right.
I appreciate you calling me out on it. I appreciate you circling back to it. Yesterday I did that. I was like, look, I'm going to start building an environment that is inviting for this, because I had not to that point knowing, probably subconsciously, I don't have a great place to write. You don't have a what? In my head, I was like, I don't have a great place to write. All I have is my desk. You have all these stupid little excuses. So I created a spot and put some things there to make it feel more like a writing place for me. Mm-hmm. A little lamp, a little scratch pad, and it's a sit-down place in the corner on a table that I never sit at. So it's reserved for writing. Interesting. So, is that going to make you want to write? Like having that spot set aside? Like, are you now like a little kind of giddy about writing? I'm giddy that I have a spot for writing.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a spot for something. It makes it more fun. Like, oh yeah, here's my writing. All right, let's sit down in my writing spot. Yeah, okay, yeah. Here comes the power. Yeah, like
you can be giddy about closing deals and not be giddy about selling.
That's true.
You won't close many deals
that way. Yeah. Okay. 1,000 words today. It's my bill bet for today. I will get my 1,000 words and I will show John those words so he can tell y'all tomorrow whether I did or not.
So Bill is going to, this is news to him as well. He's going to message me when the 1,000 words are done. Just that way we have a loop closed that the 1,000 words have been committed to paper. They don't have to be great. They don't have to do anything. You just have to sit down and write them.
Yep. And it won't say 1,000 words, 1,000 words, 1,000 words, 1,000 words, 1,000 words, 1,000 words.
If it does, it does. But I'm confident that you can dig a little bit deeper than that.
That's my quality commitment. It will be more than
that. Okay. All right, man. We gotta go. I gotta go coach, and you gotta go write.
All right, let's go. Let's go do Thursday.
Yes. Thank you to James. Thank you to Levi. Thank you to the lurkers who are hanging out. Have we? No, we haven't talked about that yet. I don't think so. Cool. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the long show. And yeah, let us know what you're working on tomorrow.
All right. Bye. See you.
Bye.